30 years of love. Sorry this is long. 2020 started out with much promise, but then COVID-19 and lockdown hit. My wife and I both love being outdoors, but where I can happily stay indoors for extended periods of time, my wife gets restless if stuck indoors. So, when I noticed changes in her behavior, I put it down to lockdown blues. Starting in May and from then to October, I noticed swings in mood and odd behavior, but then on a Friday afternoon 3 weeks ago I had made plans to meet some friends for an evening out, but almost cancelled due to my wife's behavior. She seemed anxious and restless, and when she said she was going to do some food shopping, I felt something was wrong because she was looking at her phone as she was telling me, rather than making eye contact, and she was a little overdressed for food shopping. Not going out dressed up, but a little too much for Tesco. She returned with a few items, mumbled about forgetting something, and went out again. I met my friends, but couldn't stop thinking about my wife, so after a couple of hours, I texted her and asked if our youngest was home yet from after school club. She didn't know. At that point I made my excuses and left the pub to head home. My wife always knows where our children are, or where they should be. When my wife finally got home, she was surprised to see me, as when I am out with that particular group, it's usually a late one. She had been gone for 6 hours, and when I asked where she had been, she replied, "I visited a friend in blank, and traffic was really bad." Okay, so the place she mentioned is a 2-hour drive away, so 4-hour round trip. And when I questioned who she visited and why she would make such a long journey on a whim, she said that she was bored so went to see an old work friend. When I asked how she arranged the visit, she was vague, and couldn't show me a text or WhatsApp or any other communication, and when I started poking at the holes in her story, she eventually admitted that she had spent the afternoon in a hotel with someone she met on Tinder. At that point my world started falling apart. I have always considered myself to be emotionally stable, and yet I cried like a baby. I couldn't stop, the pain was too much. Over the course of the next few hours and days, the full story emerged. Back in May, a new starter at her work had shown interest in her and had been chatting her up. He was 20-something, she is 47. She felt flattered and desirable again, and after a few weeks of chatting, she agreed to meet him at a hotel. They slept together, some of which was unprotected. They met just that once, and soon after, he left for another job, and that was that he stopped contact. This coincides with when I noticed her mood changes. She was extremely happy for a few weeks and then really down. She told me she visited her GP and had an STI test, which was negative. After that she installed Tinder and met someone who she felt an emotional connection with. After about a month of texting they met up one afternoon, and had us in the back of his van. Again, he stopped contact afterwards, and again, I had noticed the mood changes, happy for a few weeks then down. She said she felt desired and like her old self, not just a wife and mother, and felt that she needs her own space and wants to move out to save me further pain. I called BS and told her that if she wants to leave it's her choice, but leaving would hurt me more and I would like to try and reconcile, but she wasn't sure. I suggested that before she moves out, we sit our children down and explain what is happening and why. I also suggested she speak to a counselor to try and get her head straight. The conversation with our children was painful, especially when my wife told them, "If you want me to leave, I'll go." I stopped her there, and told her in no uncertain terms that she will not put this on our children or on me. If she goes, it is her choice and she bears the responsibility. She has looked at a few flats local to us, but when I reminded her that she will still have a financial commitment to our children, because even though 2 of them are adults, they are in full-time education and are still dependent on us. She had to lower her expectations based on her new budget and has struggled to find something affordable locally. She now says she is willing to try and build a new relationship with me, and I want that, and I'm trying to let go of the anger, bitterness and resentment. It is not easy, but I am trying. Then she told me she had unprotected action with 2 of the men, and had a contraceptive implant fitted at the beginning of October. I had a vasectomy years ago. The implant lasts 3 years, which leads me to conclude she intended, or intends to continue to see other men. I want to try and build a relationship with her in our family home. I have been with her for the majority of my adult life, and can't bear the thought of her not being in my life, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do. If she did it again, I'm not sure I could cope. Also, the whole time she was chatting and having action with those men, she was also being more attentive to me. The intimacy was great, like when we first met, and she was taking an interest in my life in a way she hadn't for years, in a way that hurts almost as much as the cheating. Now for the top advice. I would look at creating a life without your wife. She cheated multiple times and planned to head into cheating more. She does not deserve your love and respect, but you do. So leave, or rather, make her leave. I am pretty sure she showed interest because she did not want you to find out. It's over, man. You had a good run. Now it's time to let her go. Maybe you can try again when you have completely forgiven her and know she won't do it again, but right now, you are better off alone. Just see her as a person you used to love and co-parent. And you are trying to work this out. Damn dude, you love disrespect is all I can say. Good luck fixing this shat show. She is not your wife. To me, cheating is unforgivable because you will never forget. Now she wants to try because financially she will have to lower expectations. If you can't see this, then nothing will help you. Good luck. She did it multiple times with multiple different people unprotected, like what the F? She did concrete actions that would let her keep cheating and having unprotected action by having birth control. Are you serious? She only considered staying when she realized that she couldn't afford a nice place nearby? Excuse me, but are you blind? 20 years is a long time with someone, especially when you love them. It's not easy to let go, believe me. It's best in this case, but not easy. Now for the next story. Nothing is the same. Today was my day off and I decided to spend time with my children. Bought pizza, wings and pop, or soda depending on where you're from. Went to the store to buy chips and dip, and I see a couple walking through Target holding hands and laughing through the store. Like we used to. That used to be our little getaway. Walk through Target laughing and joking, looking at things and buying what we needed. And we always seemed to spend over our budget cause of things you wanted. I just love to see you smile after buying your books for you to read, or movies you wanted me to watch. We said this year we would buy our children a new TV for the holidays. I guess I'll be buying it alone, keeping my end of the promise. I get home and set up our TV room with the food, and the kids were all like, "Wow, Dad." I couldn't help but smile. So, I told them to pick anything they wanted to watch. They have me all day cause I'm not going to work. They were so happy they hugged me tight. That felt really good and I needed that. I love my babies. If it wasn't for them, I would have ended it all some time back. They kept me strong. My oldest picked Cinderella to watch after Lego Batman. I remember that was your favorite Disney movie. Then they picked some other kid movie, where it made my mood decline. The mom in the movie left her son with the father to be with another man. I almost broke into tears when I saw my babies' faces watching this. But I knew I had to be strong for them. And as they sat next to me and laid on each of my sides, I could feel their pain. At that moment, I knew I had to change the mood, so I said let's turn the movie off and play a game. So of course, my youngest said let's play Uno, that's Mom's favorite game. All day I am reminded of you, and all the time we spent. Even our children are showing signs of pain because of you and your selfishness. Why would you do this to us? I didn't ask for this. They didn't ask to be born for this. Now I'm up writing on Reddit for some type of reprieve. Drawing. Drinking. As much as I know, you're no good and don't deserve us, I still can't help that underlying feeling. I miss you. We all do. Now for the top advice. You did good, Dad. You did good. And the image and memory of the person you thought you knew, well, she heard this. That memory of the good her, the one you are remembering now. She is yelling at you from behind your tearing eyes, she is saying let me go. The pain in your heart. The tears in your eyes. The hints of quick sadness you catch in your children's faces. It's her, the good her, screaming let me go. Live again. Thanks. This hit home for me. I am sorry that you are experiencing this, but I have a feeling that you are in need of some tough love. What you are doing there is setting yourself up to get triggered. The store, the choice of movies. All things that would remind you of her. I know that there is a desire inside of you to get reminded of her, and this desire gets fueled by this feeling of missing her. Look out for things that will trigger you and try to avoid them. Visit a different store, not the one where you always went with her. Choose the movies you watch wisely. The Lego movie approach would be best, because topics like the betrayal are not part of those movies. Same goes for music that you hear. After such a long time together, there are a ton of things that can trigger you and throw you back on your healing. Figure out what triggers you easily and try to avoid that. I know that it is unfair, that her mistakes force you to change, but it is necessary for you to make certain adjustments to your life now. It is great that you have your kids, they will be the force that keeps you running. Good luck and stay strong. You miss who you thought she was. Not the lying, deceitful, betraying, selfish, self-entitled, self-serving, self-absorbed, self-important a-hole she actually is. Best comment. My ex abandoned me and the kids. It took a while, but I finally came to terms with the fact that I was never in love with her. I was in love with the person I imagined her to be. A fantasy. A fantasy that ran off with the tennis instructor. We survived, and thrived, once her toxicity was out of the house. Now for next story. The woman I was going to marry left me for our best friend. My 29 male girlfriend, 33 female, of the last 2 years, is leaving me for our mutual best friend, 28 male. Let's call my girlfriend Jane, and our best friend John. The three of us have always been close best friends, but during that entire time, Jane and I were together. John and her never had an intimate relationship. Jane and I are in the process of moving from Japan to our home countries. Jane is from Canada, I'm from the US. We had discussed getting married once we were back together in the same country. Before leaving Japan, Jane met up with John for a vacation. I wasn't able to join, because I had just moved home to the US to help my family with some things. Regardless, I was happy they were going to spend time together, and I was sure Jane and I would meet in Canada in a couple of months, eventually getting married. During their trip, we all message and video chat. They're having a nice time in a beautiful part of Japan. Then a week passes and Jane calls me, and tells me she wants to be with John. That they've always been in love, they slept together and that John is following her to Canada, and they're going to get married. I'm devastated, and have no one to talk to about this right now. If this happened to you, how did you handle it? I just need to know what my future might look like. Thank you, kind internet people. It sounds to me like two pieces of garbage found themselves together. Congratulations. The future is bright, you don't have to worry about paternity fraud, messy divorce, damaged children, loss of finances, and wasting time on this planet with a cheater. There's a lot of positives you can take. Most important, if you married her, it would have been the worst decision of your life. The thing is, when people cheat, especially the way they did it, they can never really trust each other. I mean, how can you trust someone who betrayed a childhood friend the way they did? So, mourn for your relationship and go to therapy and move on. Then once you gather yourself, inform their families and friends of what they did. You owe them nothing, especially mercy. They do not get to ride off into the sunset, without dealing with the consequences of their actions. It will get better. OP. Perspective. I don't discredit his situation one bit. The hurt sucks and sucks badly. But to be his age and have a chance to start anew. Man, I wish. OP, this hurts now, but you're going to see in about a year, that this is a blessing in disguise. No matter what, stay no contact with these people. No matter what. No apology in the world should break this. You've been warned. If regret sets in, do not take her back and do not keep that friendship. Block both of them everywhere. Screw their reasons. They both violated your trust, screwed, and then ditched you. Who goddamn does that to someone they love? They must have done stuff before this. They're both incredibly toxic people. As hard as it is, block them completely from your life and never speak to them again. You'll be way better for it. You got double betrayed and that's not easy. When you're settled in, seek therapy. Now for the last story. Girlfriend of 3 years cheated, saw video with the other guy. So, this girl I've been with has been extremely loving and caring, or at least, manipulated me into thinking so. After what I found out, I realized she's a complete pathological liar, and can do it without batting an eye. She made full promises and always gave me reassurance that she would never cheat, or do anything to betray my trust. I really loved this girl with everything I had, and her love to me felt real too. Then I saw some red flags. I decided to check her phone and she was flirting with a guy and they talked about how they effed. I was absolutely blindsided by this, as she always told me she wasn't that kind of person, and that she loved me too much to do anything like that. We ended up breaking up. 2 weeks later she messaged me and wanted to talk. My horny butt was stupid enough to suggest hooking up, but as long as there's no one physically involved, because I don't want to sleep with her if she's doing it with someone else. She agreed, and promised again that she wouldn't sleep with anyone if we're going to be doing it. Again, our relationship was already over, and she even said there's nothing to lose, so there's no point in lying. I was skeptical. The day we chilled and had action, I had my suspicions. I snuck onto her phone to find a video of her sucking a new guy's D, taken the day before we chilled. I was absolutely shattered and I can't get that image out of my head. Keep in mind, she promised all that stuff a few days before that. So, in a couple days she already disregarded everything she said to reassure me it won't happen again. I'm broken after this and my trust is a mess. Every day I feel sick to my stomach and I'm losing weight. I can't get the image of her sucking off that guy out of my head. I'm losing weight and have no appetite at all. I would appreciate any advice, thank you. Now for the top advice. This is why everyone here says go no contact. You broke up. You messed up by thinking it was only going to be a hookup with no feelings. That never works. Someone always catches feelings. Unfortunately for you, this time you didn't catch feelings, you had not gotten over your feelings from the breakup. That video isn't proof she cheated on you. You were already broken up. It is proof that she lied to you, but you should have already known that. Liars do what they do, they lie. They'll go out of their way to lie, because that's what they do. I'm sorry you are feeling like this, but you have to learn that when you get burned, stop putting your hand in the fire. Go no contact, heal, and learn from this. Thanks for the response. I'm cutting her out of my life completely. It's just really crappy to think that you thought you've known someone so well, and then they go and do something like that. The video is just a cherry on top and can't get it out of my head. You seem to have one-itis. I would suggest you adapt an abundance mindset. She has a roster of other guys, so build a roster of other girls. Don't get so hung up on this one chick ever. I can promise you that there's nothing special that she can provide that you wouldn't be able to get from any other woman. Action, lies, abuse, heartbreak. If she can't bring anything positive and of value into your life, then she doesn't need to be the center of it. You must respect and love yourself. Best of luck. Stay strong, King. That's the plan. It's tough with COVID, so I'm going on dating apps and meeting other women. It's really hard because she brought so much positivity in my life, and she did a lot of stuff for me and went out of her way to make me happy. If I never looked at her phone, she would have convinced me 100% that she would never do that. That's why I'm so confused about all this. I don't understand why someone would do so much to make me happy, when they're doing the complete opposite when I'm not around. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.